You know, I have a feeling something new has started to happen in the smartphone market, and that is that companies are running out of names to actually give their phones. I have 3 phones in front of me. Each has the name, and other companies have similar names. So the first one, of course, is going to be the budget king, maybe the Redmi Note 9. Now remember, there are many other Notes out there, including the Samsung. Then I've got the Samsung Galaxy M31, and I've got the Oppo A31. And we also had the same problem with the X2. So you think companies are running out of names because it is getting confusing out there. I mean, there used to be a time when you would say Note or so-and-so name. It would be only one phone that would come to your mind. Now you'll have to ask which phone, which brand, which particular variant. So there is a lot that's happening out there. But then I've already told you the phones we're doing. Lots of amazing phones on the show. Let's get started with today's Cell Guru.
Xiaomi launched the Redmi Note 9 Pro series. We got our hands on the new Redmi Note 9 Pro and we tell you if it's the new budget king. The Galaxy M31 may not be the most stylish phone, but its battery life has us amazed. But does the mega monster fare well in other areas? Find out in our review. Oppo has created a visually appealing device that shows just how mid-range phones can boss around without making huge compromises for the users. And we show you apps that can help you work from home as coronavirus hits the globe.
And as always, we're going to start off with all the news that's coming in. And the first one is Apple's March event now stands cancelled. There were rumors of Apple holding an event this month to reveal its latest product, most likely the iPhone SE 2 and a new iPad Pro. Now that event is definitely not happening due to the coronavirus, obviously. Now, Apple never said or sent an invite for this event, but there was something planned which we will now get a confirmation of. Whether it will continue or not, maybe as just a live stream, we don't know as yet. Also, Apple could cancel or postpone its annual WWDC. This is a big one. If this one gets cancelled, it is going to be a big one. Once again, if the coronavirus doesn't come into some kind of control. The conference is scheduled for June 2020 and Apple has not yet sent out any invites to the media or anybody. The tech giant could host a virtual conference instead. OnePlus is all in on 5G. No surprise now that the next OnePlus phones are scheduled to launch in April. We know that. And now we have a confirmation that the new OnePlus 8 series will be 5G enabled. In fact, speaking to CNET, OnePlus CEO and co-founder Pete Lau explained that going forward, we'll all be on 5G. While 5G makes the upcoming OnePlus 8 phones future ready, it also means that the prices of the OnePlus 8 series may be even a little bit higher. We already find OnePlus to be a little high already, could be a little bit higher, which is not great news for OnePlus fans. And Facebook stories can soon be shared on to Instagram. Facebook is working on a cross-posting story system on Instagram. Currently, Instagram stories can be shared to Facebook stories, but the reverse is not possible. The feature comes as Facebook continues to integrate Instagram with the rest of its services. Now, according to a Facebook spokesperson, the company is now formally testing the cross-posting feature to make it easier to share moments with people who matter to the user, as people might have very different audiences and followers on Facebook versus Instagram. According to me, this is really, really bad news. And let's start off with our first top stories. I've got 3 top stories on the show today. The Redmi Note 9 Pro is in my hand. Let me show it to you. Now, I'm not overly thrilled with this color. This is not exactly, I mean, this is a bit too much of bling in this color. I mean, it's a nice looking phone, has fantastic stuff on it. Qualcomm Snapdragon 720G, which is really good for performance and gaming, yet runs cool. It has a 48 megapixel quad camera system at the back with artificial intelligence. Big battery on it, 5020 mAh, and a nice looking phone, big screen, all the things that you want, and the price point actually starts off at 12,999 or so. Of course, this one, the Pro, is about 15,000 rupees plus, and there is also another version that has come out. But I think it's going to be the main Note that really will become the budget king of the year. Lots of cool things in it, other than, of course, the color, which I haven't liked. Let's take a look at the phone.
The Note series from Xiaomi has a history of being the phone year after year. It is always packed with all the current generation tech and comes with an attractive price tag. The new Note 9 Pro is no different. It is stuffed with brilliant optics, best battery life and is big on gaming. And in today's review, we will find out if the Note 9 Pro is yet another hit from Xiaomi, or has the company failed to give us the best budget phone of the year. The Note 9 Pro is bling. Now many would like that, but some wouldn't. We are not a fan of the shiny and reflective rear panel the Note 9 Pro has on. The phone feels heavy, but it can be credited to the big 5020 mAh battery it aboards. The island that houses the quad camera lens is noticeably raised, but slightly bothered us. There's a fingerprint sensor on the side and there's face unlock too. Both systems work well and fast. The front is a large 6.7-inch Full HD Plus display which is good enough to watch content on the go. The screen colors are vivid. We were expecting Xiaomi to give a 90Hz screen refresh rate in the new Pro, but they stuck to 60Hz as they didn't feel that there is enough to have 90Hz content available yet.
Even some high-end flagships going up to almost like 1 lakh rupee in prices still have a 60Hz, and it's perfectly fine for media consumption and even gaming. In this case, now this runs a Qualcomm Snapdragon 720G chipset. That gives you amazing gaming performance up to 60 frames per second. Any refresh rate that we would have pushed over that without seeing any actual consumer benefit, it would have impacted battery life, and battery life is something that we cannot compromise on when it comes to the Redmi Note series.
The good thing is that we do get a lot of battery life, and with a 18 watts charger in the box, it's even better. The Redmi Note 9 Pro also comes with NEV IC, India's take on GPS out of the box. Coming to the performance, the Redmi Note 9 Pro is powered by Snapdragon 720G, a chipset strong enough to beat the competition in this category with advanced gaming skills with Game Turbo 2.0. The phone is easy to navigate, it can maneuver all the tasks well and is great for gaming. The 9 Pro comes in two variants, 4GB and 64GB and 6GB and 128GB. We have the 6GB RAM variant for review and it's offered us seamless performance. This phone has 4 cameras at the back, and this time the primary module is a 48-megapixel Samsung GM2 sensor. There is an 8-megapixel wide-angle lens with 120-degree field of view, a 5-megapixel macro lens and a 2-megapixel portrait lens. The shots came out well with details in daylight. We were impressed with the macro shots and the portraits on this phone. The night mode is impressive too. We really enjoyed the Pro Color mode and we were happy with the camera on the phone. There is a 16-megapixel front camera which clicks nice selfies. The 9 Pro runs on Android 10 with MIUI 11. The phone is clean with a little bloatware. The 4GB 64GB variant of the Note 9 Pro is priced at 12,999 rupees and the 6GB 128GB option is available for 15,999 rupees. The Cell Guru verdict. The Redmi Note 9 Pro feels and acts like the phone that is capable to rule the budget market. Xiaomi has yet again produced a solid successor of the Note and it's unquestionably worth your money.
And now let's move on to our next top story, the Oppo A31. We have the 4GB, 64GB variant, and this is, of course, the super economy phone from Oppo, and they have a triple camera on this. Then what else do they say? Then, of course, it has a 6.5-inch HD Plus water drop screen, so there is a notch, but of course, it's a completely different kind of a notch than you typically have. It almost looks like a punch hole camera. 4,250 mAh battery and a 3-card slot for even more storage. Now, the sad part is that these extra slots now are only coming in budget phones. The more the premium a phone, the lesser the number of slots, which is just bad planning from all companies. I think companies that are selling premium phones should actually have more slots in them, not just budget phones. The Oppo A31 comes with a lot of stuff at a great, very aggressive price. Let's take a look at our review.
The Oppo A31 may have flown under your radar considering the number of phones that Oppo launches, but it is certainly a good phone, especially for its price. Coming in at just 11,490 rupees, it gives some tough competition to phones in that price range. The phone has a big 6.5-inch screen with a water drop notch at the top. The display has an aspect ratio of 20:9 with an 89% screen to body ratio, and it gets bright enough for easy viewings outdoors. The screen has some decent sized bezels on the top and the sides with a bigger chin. The A31 packs an AI triple camera system with a 12-megapixel primary lens, a 2-megapixel macro lens and another 2-megapixel depth sensor. The camera delivers some decent photos in daylight conditions and colors are fairly accurate. The macro lens performed well and allowed us to get close to the subject while taking the shots. There is no dedicated night mode on the phone, which did leave us a bit disappointed with the overall camera performance. The front camera is an 8-megapixel lens which takes some good selfies. There is some beautification done in the post-processing which makes the selfies look just a tad bit softer than usual. There is a big 4230 mAh battery on this device, which means that the battery life is great on the A31. We managed to use the phone for an entire day and the phone didn't die on us. Charging the phone can take a while as it charges using a 10-watt micro USB charger instead of a Type-C pin. There is also no support for fast charging on this device. The big battery meant that we enjoyed watching YouTube videos and playing games without having to worry about the drain. The A31 can handle light gaming with ease, but graphic-heavy games can make the phone slower. It is powered by a MediaTek Helio P35 chipset, which is a lower mid-range chip, and considering the price of this device, it is a good offering. The A31 runs on Google's previous Android 9 Pie out of the box with Oppo's Color OS on top. The phone did not appear to lag and handled daily tasks with ease. There is face unlock on this device and also a rear-mounted fingerprint scanner which can be used to unlock the device. On top of that, there is a 3.5mm headphone jack 2 on this device, which is a rarity these days. The A31 comes with 4GB RAM and 64GB internal storage, but there is support for expandable storage up to 256GB via micro SD card slot that Oppo has offered to users. While it has a plastic bag, the gradient finish makes the phone look stunning. It comes in two colors, mystery black and fantasy white. The Cell Guru verdict: if you are looking for a stylish phone with great battery life and are willing to make just a few compromises on the camera, then you should give the Oppo A31 a thought. It is light on the pocket and the big screen means there is enough room for all your smartphone activities.
And now let's move on to our next top story in our series of 31. So we had the Oppo A31, now we have the Samsung M31. First and straight away, I have to tell you that it's the battery that is the big deal in this one. This one has an absolutely phenomenal battery, 6000 mAh battery in a phone of this kind. Water drop design in terms of the notch, great cameras at the back, good aggressive price from Samsung. So once again in the M series, Samsung may have a winner. Here's our review.
No Time to Die is not just the latest James Bond flick, it can also be said for the Samsung Galaxy M31, which has a massive battery. Officially touted as the mega monster, the Galaxy M31 seems to live up to that tag if you're looking at the spec sheet. But do the specs match the actual performance? Yes and no. A phone's battery is one of the most important features in a smartphone, and the M31 hits the nail firmly on its head. It has a massive 6000 mAh battery that lasted us all day. It can easily be considered a 2-day phone for light users. The phone charges with a Type-C 15 watts fast charger. The size of the battery meant we could watch our favorite shows and play games without worrying about the running out of juice on our phones at the end of the day. The phone has a 6.4-inch S-AMOLED Infinity U display, which means that the front camera is notched with a U-shape cutout in the center of the screen. Samsung is known for their bright screens, and this one follows suit as the M31 goes up to 420 nits peak brightness. The colors are bright and punchy on the screen. There are very thin bezels at the top and on the sides, but there's a considerable amount of chin on the phone. Light gaming should not be an issue, but the phone stutters while playing graphic-heavy games like PUBG, especially on the highest setting. This can be attributed to the fact that the device has a mid-range Exynos 9611 chipset. We did not witness any visible lags during our time with it. The 6GB RAM meant that using the phone was a breezy affair. Moving to the back of the device, the M31 follows the 2020 trend of having a quad camera setup. There's a 64-megapixel main lens with a f/1.8 sensor, a 5-megapixel macro lens and an 8-megapixel ultra-wide lens with a 120-degree field of view. We tested the camera and found it to be fairly decent. The camera does well in well-lit conditions, the photos are clear and crisp as the 64-megapixel main camera does a good job of reducing noise and processing the shots. But the phone struggles in low light conditions. While there is a dedicated night mode, the shots turned out to be grainy and the camera failed to show any depth in the photos. The 5-megapixel macro lens takes some decent shots as well, with the photos turning out to be bright and maintaining the colors well. For us, the front camera was a bit of a downer. Despite having a 32-megapixel lens, photos on the Galaxy M31 lack clarity and surprisingly color too. There is some work to be done here for Samsung. We were glad to see a 3.5mm headphone jack on the bottom of the phone. The Galaxy M31 is powered by Samsung's own Exynos 9611 chipset, and it runs on Android 10 out of the box with Samsung's One UI skin on it. There is a dedicated dark mode on it, and our black unit was rocking the dark mode out of the box. There is face unlock on this device and also a rear-mounted fingerprint scanner which can be used to unlock the device. It has a plastic back with a glossy finish. It comes in two storage variants, 6 plus 64GB, which is priced at 15,999 rupees, and 6 plus 128GB, which is priced at 16,999 rupees. Verdict: The M31 is a decent upgrade over the M30s, with extra RAM and a fourth camera. While it does pack a huge battery, we weren't thrilled with the optics of this device. That said, the M31 is a complete package that won't die on you and would reasonably do well in the other departments, making it definitely worthy of your attention.
Let's take a quick break right now on the Cell Guru Show. I've got lots and lots more when I come back. Now let's move on to a story that I think truly is the sign of our times. It seems like if things go from bad to worse in this entire COVID-19 or coronavirus world that we live in, a lot of us will actually have to work from our homes. We may not even be able to move out. Quarantines could become very, very strict. It's countries right now that are stopping movement in and out. It could actually become your home and your offices that could have this entire problem. Well, in times like this, what are the apps that can actually help you to work from home? That's our story, and Rubina has all the solutions.
Work from home could be the new norm as coronavirus spreads across the globe. So I have compiled a list of apps that can help you work from the comfort of your place while not compromising on the completion of your work or risk getting infected. I'm going to start with apps like FaceTime, Skype, WhatsApp, Calling, Duo, all these apps which let you make virtual calls so you can have meetings with your co-workers from these apps. These apps are good for a quick call here and there. However, they don't offer enterprise solutions for organizations with a large number of employees. For that, we have other apps. Zoom is a platform that offers you remote video conferencing services. It is used around the world for boardroom meetings, virtual training sessions, and even conferences. It offers cross-platform support on mobile as well as desktop. It provides end-to-end encryption so you don't have to worry about privacy issues for your data. Microsoft Teams is a great alternative to Zoom. It can offer you exact office experience without the physical infrastructure. It offers you almost exact office experience without the physical infrastructure. Microsoft Teams is a great option for large organizations as you can hold and stream online meetings with up to 10,000 people. Then there is Slack, which can be used to work from anywhere around the world, and it is a better alternative to email. Slack has a channel-like interface where you can have multiple channels for different conversations. Unlike email, on Slack you can send a notification if you want to grab someone's attention. Then there are apps like Asana and Evernote, which lets you organize your work better. It can let you make to-do lists and even keep a track of the progress of your employees. Evernote is one of the best note-taking apps out there. There is support for PDFs, emails. You can even add images and audio clips to your notes. Asana is a task management tool that is built for collaboration. It is a project management tool which lets you add up to 15 people in a team on the free version. The tool includes task assignment and workload management among others. So if you happen to work from home this season, do write to me and tell me which ones were your go-to apps. You can write to me at cellguru@ndtv.com. See you next week.
That then was the Cell Guru Show for this week. Do remember, we're waiting for all your feedback, all your questions. What else do you want us to feature on the show? Of course, I promise you a great show next week. I'll see you on that show.